Back at Pittsburgh, the Panthers in their white uniforms on the floor. The Redmen in red. Their visiting uniforms head out onto the floor. Our officials tonight: Hank Nichols, he's the man in the middle. Fred Heichel on the left. Edgar Cartato, the man on the right. And Bill Raftery, this is really nitty-gritty time for these teams. Pittsburgh was able to beat crosstown rival Duquesne the other night, but haven't been able to win in the Big East Conference.
As we take a look at the starters there, a good comeback for them. They struggled, they were down, Vaughn not playing, but bouncing back as we take a look at the Panthers.
St. John's finally left New York City to play a game last Saturday and lost at Boston College. So now the real tough part of the schedule begins for these teams, and Pittsburgh wins the opening tip. This is their point guard, Billy Culbertson. Last year, St. John's won 2 out of 3, including the game in the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden. This is the rookie, Aiken.
First that season series at 8-3. Lou Konasek is 5-1 with the Panthers.
Culbertson puts it up to 20. Keith Armstrong blocked away by the 7-footer Weddington. Clyde Vaughn, no. And Chris Mullen comes away with a rebound.
With a T-shirt.
That's right. The rule this year, you have to wear the same color T-shirt as your jersey. So Mullen wearing the red T-shirt.
And a St. John's T-shirt.
No advertising allowed on the T-shirts this year. Other than your school name, of course.
Well, historically, everybody felt that St. John's start him with his own, see if they're nailing that deep shot. BC gave them trouble. They overplay on Chris Mullen's side. You have to be concerned with his great deep shooting ability.
That's Ron Stewart. This is Mike Moses who wins it. Mike, the junior college transfer from Florida, back from Pittsburgh. No score. We've played over a minute.
Well, Mike Moses, if anybody has a hard night, it's going to be on Curtis Aiken. He's a talented player, starting to feel his oats.
Good move goes Aiken. Another block.
Billy Weddington showing no signs. 2 blocks. Doing an outstanding job.
Whew. Coming off the ankle injury. Swatted away twice so far. Now, minute and a half gone.
He's got 13 this year, plus these 2. 15.
On the inbounds play, St. John's from the man-to-man. That's what they've done historically. Culbertson working Mullen, finds the rookie Aiken. Mullen on the switch, and we have a 3-second violation against the Pitt Panthers. So St. John's gets it back on the turnover.
Chip Watkins was anticipating a shot by Curtis Aiken on the pump fake, got free, dumped it to his left to Billy Culbertson. Inside Watkins in the 3-second line.
So man-to-man pressure as St. John's brought it across. Interested in seeing how Mike Moses and Willie Glass do, the new Redmond. Ron Stewart from outside. We have a scoreless game. Finally, Willie Glass misses badly. He had a poor shooting day against Boston College Saturday. Still no score.
Both clubs a little tight right now.
Here goes Stewart. We haven't had a foul or a point in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Pitt's had a couple of opportunities, but Bill Weddington has been able to swat the ball away.
Here's Willie Glass in the corner. Chris Mullen.
Against the 2-3, Mullen's liable to get 3 for himself easier than against the 1-2-2.
45-second clock at 15. Mullen. No. Mullen can't even hit. We played 2:45. We're on the schneid. Well, if they had the tradition here of standing until the first home points are scored, we'd be here all night. First foul, and it goes against Stewart. Ron Stewart.
In tight. And both coaches wondering when they're going to get on the scoreboard. And I've had nights when it's been 15, 16 zip. And that's a terrible feeling. Louis, a little concerned. You'll see him helping out on the defense occasionally. Steps out onto the floor.
No, he played 3 minutes. We're about a minute away from the first television timeout that they'll call. This is really strange. Here goes Clyde Vaughn. Well, there it is.
First time he touched the ball. Clyde, New Rochelle High School.
Score 2 for the Hypnotists. 2-0 Pittsburgh. You missed our opening comments. Clyde Vaughn sees a hypnotist right before the game to put him in the right mental framework.
I wonder if he leaves tickets for him.
Well, after scoring the first 2 points, I would. St. John's has been shut out. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. They throw it away. I wonder if the hypnotist helps the road team as well.
Well, I'm sure if there's a fee involved, he will. St. John's off to a ragged start offensively. Fortunately, Pittsburgh struggling somewhat also.
Culbert's in from outside, 4-0.
Everybody, after watching the BC game and the 21 turnovers, full court pressing. Chip Watkins with a good steal.
Aiken backs away from Winnington. They work it around. 4-0, 4:15 gone. The next dead ball, there'll be a TV timeout, and Luke Von will be happy. Culbertson hits again. 6-0 Pittsburgh. 4.5 minutes gone. And there's the first foul against Pittsburgh.
Well, fortunately for St. John's, takes the crowd out of the game a little bit.
So Culbertson picks up the foul. St. John's is happy. A timeout is called. 4.5 minutes gone. They trail 6-0. That's our score. Let's pause for these messages.
Trouble.
Back in Pittsburgh, you know, Bill Raftery, people wonder about TV timeouts. The rule this year is 3 timeouts per team that they're allowed to call themselves instead of 5 as last year. TV timeouts are taken at the first dead ball after the clock hits 16 minutes, 12, 8, and 4. So 4 per half. So Luke Carnesecca was happy trailing 6-0. He didn't have to take a timeout himself. TV does it for him. That's how that works. Glass on the tip. Here's a third chance. Moses penetrates. Fouled by Armstrong.
Down inside. St. John's doing a job on the offensive glass. We'll comment on that in a moment. Moses, a nice player. Good penetration. Ends up switching to the right hand here. Down inside. Keith Armstrong. I think coaches would prefer 5 timeouts and TV takeaway 2.
Yeah.
3 is a scary number. Some nights, if you're down 10-0 early, you don't want to lose the game in the first 3 minutes of the ball game. You might call one, but most people assign the assistants to inform them when the clock is going to reach the magic number to save those timeouts for stretch time.
That's right. Those coaches told us before the game, we asked them that they let their assistant coach keep track of not only the regular timeouts, but how close they are to TV timeouts. So it is a factor in the game. It's something that really is worth talking about. If you're getting blown out early, do you call a timeout or wait for television? Luke Carnesecca was only down 6-0. Television did it for him. Here's Chip Watkins. He hits it. 8-1.
St. John's inside has been sought. Clyde Vaughn got the ball on the box. Chip Watkins in the 3-second lane.
St. John's looking for its first field goal. We've played 5.5 minutes. 8-1 Panthers.
More important, this is the 7th trip to St. John's. They've been empty on 6 previous attempts.
Well, make it 8. Pittsburgh returns the favor. Vaughn throws it right through Armstrong's legs.
Well, he was pumped up with that pass. That was an aggressive chest pass.
Out of 9 teams in the conference, St. John's is 8th in scoring. And I think we can see why in the early going. Gone are Billy Goodwin and David Russell.
Well, also, they completely control tempo. They let you play their game. They don't force it unless it's there.
Gone are Kevin Williams and Bob Kelly. Stewart gives them the first field goal, and that's a lift. There's a guy who only averages 7 a game. 8-3 now. Pittsburgh on top by 5. Stolen away. Mike Moses does it for the Redmen. Moses leads them to the forecourt plan. They missed it. Mullen, offensive rebound. He's fouled.
Well, there's a little play that shows his ability. He tipped the ball to himself. He mistimed his jump, Chris Mullen. Moses may have been able to give the ball up early. Eventually, he was stuck with the foul line jumper. Mullen now, just a little tip to himself. Normally, he makes this and goes for the third.
Chip Watkins, that's the man the foul was called on. Joey David is in the lineup for Pittsburgh, replacing Curtis Aiken. Chris Mullen, leading free throw shooter in the history of St. John's University.
And that one was a break.
These seem like hard rims, Bill.
Well, that ball there really bounced high for a foul line shot.
Yeah. These are Syracuse rims, I think. 13-15 remaining first half. Pittsburgh 8, St. John's 5. Clyde Vaughn in and out. Oh, the hard rim hurt him there. And Pittsburgh will retain it.
Billy Weddington did a good job checking out down low on Keith Armstrong. He was unsuccessful coming up with the ball. The eventual knock out of bounds by St. John's.
Andre Williams checks in. Keith Armstrong out for the Panthers. You know, people laugh and say, what do you mean, hard rims, soft rims? There definitely is a difference.
Well, some are more pliable than others. Ball lingers. The old garden people used to rave about. Even you could make a jump shot there.
And Madison Square Garden now is on the softer side. I guess if you play as many basketball games they play there, it loosens the screws a bit.
Some nights I had to soften the ball.
Joey David working Chris Mullen. Joey David's more of a zone player, going against a man-to-man Redmond here. Andre had a notion from the corner. Now moves inside.
A good notion to go in for that one. I think if Williams took that ball, he may have been back out.
Pittsburgh pressing the inbounds play. 12 and a half minutes left first half. Pittsburgh leading 10-5 and looking for their first Big East victory of the year.
St. John's attacks the press in portions. They seldom go for the long bomb. They get it in. Next step is half court, and occasionally all the way.
And Weddington loses it.
He's showing signs of not playing and practicing. He's been tight with the ball, even on rebounds.
Clyde Vaughn.
John Stewart is letting him post up. He's not fighting for that low position, and you can't do that with Clyde Vaughn.
You know what his real first name is?
No.
It's Clive, C-L-I-V-E. He's from England. His mom named him Clive. Of course, when you played in the New York City area, he played up in Mount Vernon, New York. Clive very quickly becomes Clyde.
Well, of course, with his body, I'm sure he's had a few fights.
Weddington is fouled.
Andre Williams down low. Weddington waved before to Lou Conosecca. I don't want to come out. Now he's waving over that he needs a blow.
But he has to go to the foul line first.
An interesting thing here now. Mark Jackson coming in the ball game. St. John's has played small with both Moses and Jackson at guard, moving Mullen up front. This time Jackson in at point guard. A talented player. Bishop Loughlin High School.
Weddington completes the three-point play. So St. John's, despite the horrendous start, is back in at 11:35 remaining first half action. Another look at Bill Weddington. Our score, Pittsburgh 12, St. John's 8. We'll be back with more Big East basketball right after these messages. The broadcast cablecast rights to this game are granted by the Big East Conference to Metro Communications Incorporated. Any rebroadcast or other use of this game without written consent prohibited. The announcers on this telecast have been selected by Metro Communications Incorporated in consultation with the Big East Conference. Bill, you mentioned a moment ago that teams like to press St. John's. Are some teams more pressable, obviously, than others?
Well, Louis' basic concept is not to get into a racehorse game. You're trying to change the tempo, trying to make him push the ball up. And occasionally with Chris Mullen, they will take it all the way, but they generally attack it with everybody down and go up the floor in portions. They don't go to the basket on each attempt.
And Johnson is zone. Clyde Vaughn. Look at that offensive rebound by Andre Williams. Boy, Vaughn's eyes light up when they go to zone. Jumped it up. Williams the rebound.
They got a foul here on Andre Williams pushing off Jeff Allen. But that time, off the timeout, Lou Conosecca switched it. And in switching it, they made the fast shot go up, but were unable to get the rebound.
There's Vaughn. Look at Andre Andre sneak in here for the rebound.
Everybody has to collapse. They didn't. Picked it off. Jeff Allen.
Took it away from Jeff Allen, the senior captain. Here's St. John's now, despite shooting 18% through the first 9 minutes. They're down only half a dozen. Pittsburgh's now in its own defense as well. Mullen, they're looking for Mullen, trying to get him on track. Hasn't hit a field goal yet, and they overthrow him.
He hasn't really been in position. They've extended the zone. Mark Jackson just in the game. He's a good passer, just has to relax. It's the road, too, don't forget. This is only the second road game for Mark Jackson.
Well, they technically played some road games in New York, but they were all home games. They played in the metropolitan New York area. First 13 games. Culbertson.
I think most people would call the Garden home for Luke on a second.
3 field goals for Billy Culbertson. St. John's struggles, but they will keep it. Out of bounds off of Chip Watkins.
They're not making quick cuts, and Louis has been trying to get them to move to the ball. They've been stagnant.
Luke Carnesecca won everybody's Coach of the Year honors last week, including Mama Leone's restaurant. Here's steal by Mark Jackson.
Well, he's got that one on bad years.
It was the Basketball Writers Coach of the Year, Big East Coach of the Year. I mean, just about everybody who had a Coach of the Year named Luke Carnesecca. Team was finally eliminated by Georgia, Mid East group, semifinals.
And that's unusual, man. Chris Mullen forcing a shot. Joey David making him, and Luke Carnesecca is now calling one of his infrequent timeouts. Upset at his club, but Chris Mullen, who seldom takes a bad shot, paid the price there.
Wow. Pittsburgh with a 10-point lead over the St. John's Redmen. 9:42 remaining in the first half. The Fitzgerald Fieldhouse is alive with our score 18-8 Pittsburgh. Let's pause for these messages.
Now you can pay less for your seat with Piedmont Super Saver Hopscotch fares. Fly round trip from Pittsburgh to Dallas-Fort Worth for just $144 each way. Round trip to Houston, $148 each way. Round trip to Orlando, $126 each way. Or fly round trip to Jacksonville for only $113 each way. There are some restrictions, so call your travel agent or call Piedmont. We have a seat waiting for you.
Back in 1894, Kelly Springfield built its first rubber tires for carriages to give people a smoother ride. Today, our aramid-belted Voyager radial still delivers the Kelly Springfield ride. It's the rough roads that don't feel so rough. The rain-slick pavement that doesn't feel so slick. And the long tread life. So next time you need tires, get a set of Kellys.
For a Kelly Springfield ride. Stetson fits. Stetson cologne for men.
All right, it's 18-8. Pittsburgh over St. John's. 9:42 remaining in the first half. St. John's trying to inbound against that press again. You'll see more exciting Big East basketball at the Big East Championships, Madison Square Garden. Tickets on sale now at the 9 member schools or at Madison Square Garden. But back to action here in Pittsburgh.
Pitt players just pointing out where Chris Mullen is.
Willie Glass, no sir. That's the kind of struggling routine he has had on the inside. Culbertson nearly loses it. Fought hard. Mark Jackson steals it away. Here goes Jackson. Pretty play for 2.
Good hustle, and that's the type of ability Mark Jackson has. In fairness to Billy Culbertson, he stumbled, caught out of position on that play.
Culbertson barking out signals, pointing. Second in assists in the Big East Conference last year. Chip Watkins double team. Blocked by Glass. Mullen comes away with it. So St. John's with a chance here to string a couple of field goals in a row.
Now, St. John's has been letting the ball in tight. Chip Watkins with the left hand, then bad position for that shot. But if you keep getting the ball in deep like that, you're going to keep the team at a distance from it.
Here's Mullen. They're only down 8. Mullen without a field goal. second clock is inside of 20 now. Those rankings may change tomorrow. Stewart hits it, and he's fouled by Watkins.
A deep foul, and Roy Shipman upset over that one because of the distance here. Pushing underneath, unnecessary, and a big help to the Red Wings.
That's 5 team fouls against Pittsburgh, 2 against Chip Watkins. The Redmen have only committed 1 personal foul in nearly 12 minutes.
And maybe that's why they're behind, too. They've been passive defensively.
Well, it rattles in for Stewart. Junior now getting some playing time with the graduation of those 4 seniors last year. We're at the 8-minute mark. Pittsburgh leads by 5.
1-3-1 now, half court. With a Louis' little zone.
Vaughn will leave that up alive, but he missed that one. A rebound pulled down by Willie Glass.
Louis doesn't switch things often. 1-3-1, occasionally a 2-3, particularly against BC last year and the other day.
Boy, Vaughn with 2 field goals, Mullen with none. Surprising first half. Chris is weaving through traffic. There he goes in the left corner. We should keep our eye on him. He's going back and forth. And finally, Willie Glass hits his first.
Well, with the type of defense Pitt is putting up, it's going to be tough for Chris Mullen to get free for shots. They're almost man-to-manning him in these zones, following him wherever he goes.
St. John's has scored 7 unanswered points, and they trail by 3. Rebound is loose. Andre Williams comes away with it. We're at the 7-minute mark. Pitt's lead is 3. It was 10 just a minute and a half ago. They work it to Vaughn. He's double teamed, goes up anyway, hits it anyway, and he's fouled by Chris Mullen.
They were down to trap. If Joey David could nail a couple of outside shots, he'd really put some pressure on St. John's. Here, Mullen double teaming. Vaughn in traffic, very tough, and that ankle looks pretty good. The hypnotist will be well paid.
Right. Curtis Aiken back in the lineup, the freshman from Buffalo for Pittsburgh. Clyde Vaughn at the line, 82% foul shooter. Completes the 3-point play, 7 points now for Clyde, and the Pittsburgh lead is 6. Jackson wears number 13, not afraid to wear that number. Willie hit the rim on the layup. Back comes Billy Culbertson for Pittsburgh, off for Aiken. Curtis backs it away off the high dribble. Aiken, no sir, and another whistle inside. The third, well, let's see.
Andre.
Yep.
Williams over the top.
That is his third.
And Aiken's jump shot from our spot in the floor looks dead in. Just short and in the rear. Andre, number 3.
Well, Andre fouled out of 11 games last year and quickly picks up 3, so he's replaced by Chip Watkins. And that's the 7th team foul already against Pittsburgh, so we'll have some foul shots here from Jeff Allen.
Well, St. John's is hanging tough, but they're not getting good shots on the offensive end. The press early got them in a hole. Now they're handling it in a portion-type attack. But the offense, very difficult to get. Chris Mullen into.
Quick transition by the Pitt Panthers. We're nearing the 6-minute mark, and they lead by 6.
Ron Stewart's fighting harder with Clyde Vaughn in the low post.
Culbertson working Mullen. Off for Aiken, who's open. Passed up the shot. Gets it off for Vaughn. He hits it.
Well, you stop Vaughn inside. Moves his man outside.
You'll see Clyde Vaughn on the English Olympic team this summer in Los Angeles. He'll team with Martin Clark from Boston College. Both English natives. Inside, Jeff Allen. Mullen on the follow, and he can't connect. Here comes Pittsburgh. Clyde Vaughn 2-on-2. Clyde works Stewart. Backs off into the corner. Pittsburgh leads by 8 again. Culbertson.
Armstrong, Len. And right now, if Forsaken or Culberson would nail Joey David Bean out. Their jump shots that open things up and put an awful lot of pressure on St. John's. Shot of Roy Chipman saying, make that jump shot, please.
And Luke Carnesecca is saying to Jeff Allen, make those free throws here with another golden one-and-one opportunity relatively early in the half. And Allen, who is just an average foul shooter, missed last time. Let's see what he does here. Again, so you've missed the chance to pick up 4 points when you're walking one-on-one, but they get it back on the turnover.
Well, good hustle by Pitt. Armstrong and Clyde Vaughn. You see the disgust etched in Armstrong's face. He caught the ball, then fell to the floor. The walk ball. George Allen now in. He's been struggling, trying to get him offensively minded. He has not been shooting well.
Pittsburgh leads by 8. 2-3 zone defense they throw against the Red Wings. St. John's with just 5 field goals in the first half. Chris Mullen, and the foul is called against Allen. And that's the wrong guy to foul.
Clyde Vaughn did a good job underneath. If George Allen had stayed out of the play, there would have been an offensive foul on Chris Mullen. The grab, or phantom grab.
Well, the officials saw it somewhere.
I always felt I had better eyes than the referees.
Mullen. So Chris, without a field goal, doing his damage from the line, rarely misses a free throw. Good shot of Chris, who had 25 points against Boston College in the loss Saturday, his season high.
One thing about him, Len, he does not need a lot of shots to score. And he plays within the confines of the game. If it's a low-scoring game, he'll get his 10, 12, 14.
Vaughn again. 11 points for Clyde Vaughn inside of 5 minutes. Pitt's lead is 8. It's a joy to watch guys like Mullen and Vaughn go at it. But Vaughn's doing it from the field. Mullen from the line thus far. Here's Chris. Not going to stop him for long.
Luke on the second, getting him into the middle now. He's able to operate. The 2-3 took the wings away from Mullen.
And Vaughn back at you. Wow.
He wanted to do this for his family, he told me. He said, I let everybody down in Villanova. I'm going to light the lights tonight.
Light him up to 13 points in the first half already. Pittsburgh's lead is 8. The Vaughn-Mullen show is just heating up, folks. We're at the 4-minute mark in the first half now. Mullen, again, off the glass. Back and forth we go. This is beautiful.
And, of course, I enjoy watching coaches move their players around. Luke Carnesecca getting Mullen into the center where he can be creative now. The wing was taken completely away.
Mullen has scored 6 points in the last minute. Aiken outside. No. Stewart pulls it down for the Redmen. They can crawl to within 4 at the 3.5-minute mark. Where are they going to get it to Mullen this time, Bill?
Well, I think...
No, Jeff Allen. There it is. Beautiful. Maybe Pittsburgh was thinking of Mullen as well.
Well, you know what happened there? Everybody was stretched out because Mullen drags people out. It opens things up inside for other people now.
And now Pittsburgh's lead has been whittled to 4. Here goes George Allen, who hasn't been able to buy a basket in the last 2 weeks. Vaughn from way outside. 15 points for Clyde Vaughn.
And Ron Stewart is saying, what do I have to do?
He's saying, why me?
He's got to stop him. Here's a little case of Billy Goodwin being missed. Billy Goodwin was the guy that took the opponent's best player out of the game, whether it was guard or forward.
Stewart, baseline. Oh, rebound, Vaughn, at both ends, Vaughn. Here goes Mullen. Pretty little steal, but he stepped on the sideline. So, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. 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 2 minutes We take a breather from the Vaughn Mullen Show. 2.5 minutes remain first half. Our score, Pittsburgh 29, St. John's 23. We'll have more Big East basketball from Pittsburgh right after these messages. Well, there's our score in time. Len Berman along with Bill Raftery from the University of Pittsburgh. Coming up at halftime, we'll have Mike Gorman and his Big East halftime report. In the games this past week, we were at Villanova last Monday night. Clyde Vaughn was hurt. You'll see highlights of that. Providence upset at Boston College, and Mike Gorman will also have highlights of the double overtime thriller Villanova, shocking Georgetown at Georgetown. You'll also see a very personal profile on Otis Thorpe, the fine center for Providence.
Luke on a second, a 2-3 zone. The second time after a suspension of play.
A 6-point Pitt lead. Clyde Vaughn, a 7 of 11, along with 6 rebounds. What a show he's putting on.
Vaughn's coming out. He wants to touch that basketball.
Inside play is broken up by Mike Fagenbaum in the lineup now for St. John's. Here goes Mullen, and he's fouled.
And this is a case of maybe the basket was moving, the backboard was moving. If somebody strikes it and causes you to miss a layup, you should score the goal.
Isn't Mullen cute there?
That should be score the basket and the foul.
Look at Mullen here. He dribble with the right hand, goes off to a shooting hand, the left hand. Isn't that a pretty play to watch? But you're right. The backboard was shaking on the floor.
Causes the ball to carom in a stronger fashion. And Luke Conesecca had a legitimate beef. And a good non-call on that play, too, out at the foul line. He faked block charge.
Mullen was also the Big East Player of the Year for the entire season as a sophomore. You know, you could speed up the game by just giving Mullen automatic points on the foul shots.
That's like the automatic walk, huh?
Mullen is an absolute machine from the foul line. He's now hit double figures, 6 of 6 from the line. Inside of 2 minutes, the St. John's lead is 4. Being trailed by 4. Pittsburgh leads it 29-25.
The guards have to do something. They've been hesitant the last couple of times. Aiken and Culberson.
Look at the steal there by Jeff Allen. Chance to close within 2. Mullen ahead of the field. Pretty. 12 points for Chris Mullen.
Bill Weddington's hurt again, but Jeff Allen, a good length of the floor pass, and they want to sub. Bill Weddington is favoring the foot again. Good suspension of play then, too. Didn't hurt Pittsburgh at all.
Finally, Weddington has to limp off the floor. The 7-footer has been out. Hurt himself in the Rutgers game a couple of weeks ago. The ankle prevented him from playing against Boston College Saturday. Tried to give it a go today.
And Ronald Infante there with him. He used to work over at Seton Hall with Ed Capola. Now the trainer at St. John's.
Pittsburgh now nursing just a 2-point lead. St. John's in a zone. 70 seconds remaining in the half. And Mullen steals. St. John's with a chance to tie after trailing by 10. 60 seconds left.
3 quick turnovers there. Ignited St. John's.
And Pittsburgh on defense looks lethargic. They're thinking about their halftime rest, I think. Inside pass. Allen.
Excellent inside passing. Chris Mullen hurts you in so many ways, but good hands by Jeff Allen.
Wow. Goodbye to a 10-point Panther lead. We're tied at 29. 35 seconds remain in the half.
And the 2-3 zone has triggered the fast break and the St. John's ability to get back in the ballgame.
St. John's now playing a passive defense. I think the teams are a bit tired here with 20 seconds remaining till halftime. We're tied at 29. Pittsburgh playing for the last shot. Villanova did it successfully against Pittsburgh to end the first half a week ago tonight. We've got 9 seconds remaining. Down to 5.
They just tried to give a foul.
2 seconds. 1 second. We're tied.
Good move strategically there. They were going to foul to stop the flow of the offense. Had plenty to give with only 2 team fouls.
So it took St. John's nearly 5 minutes of action to score in the first half. They finally got their first points. It took Chris Mullen half of the half to get his first field goal. He got cranked up from the line, from the field. The turnovers were made, and St. John's erased a 10-point Pittsburgh lead. So that's the end of a frenetic first half of action from Pittsburgh. Our score, Pittsburgh 29, St. John's 29. We'll be back with our halftime report in just a minute. And if you're just joining us, welcome back to Pittsburgh. Len Berman along with Bill Raftery, the Pitt Panthers, looking for their first victory this year in the Big East Conference. St. John's Redmond are 11-2 overall, but just 2-1 in the conference. And Bill, how about the only undefeated team in the Big East Conference at this point being Syracuse at 4-0? Bit of a surprise.
Well, it is, but when you watch Syracuse, and I've seen them a few times in person and on film or tape, Jimmy Boeheim has himself a basketball team. Andre Hawkins had an outstanding game the other night against Providence.
Hey, look at this St. John's lineup starting the second half. Both the centers are in, Jeff Allen and Bill Wennington. St. John's starting off playing big, so I guess Wennington's ankle's okay from hurting it in the first half.
And I'll be curious to see if he goes 2-3 right out of the gate with the big people in there.
And Mark Jackson gets the start in the backcourt. Willie Glass is the odd man out in this alignment. This is Moses. Mike Moses gets it back. Sends it outside from Mark Jackson. The 45-second clock is now down to 10. Look at this one.
And that was set up by Chris Mullen. Moses made the pass. Mullen ran baseline, dragged his man out. Chip Watkins opened it up for the dump in for the slam.
For the first time tonight, the Redmen have the lead, 31-29. We've played a minute second half. Clyde Vaughn had 15 in the first half of Pittsburgh. He's leading all scorers.
And Horace, Luke Conaseca opening up a half in a 2-3 zone.
Joe Lapchick is smiling somewhere, isn't he?
Well, Lou will do anything to win if any other coach will, but over the years he was very shy about switching defense.
Clyde Vaughn from deep. Jeff Allen had it slapped away. And Curtis Aiken stepped on the baseline, so it's St. John's ball. And with a minute and a half gone in the second half.
Louis looks like he's looking for a roll of salami. The hands on the big man, he's saying.
Louis sitting right next to us. As we mentioned earlier tonight, a win this evening ties him with the late Joe Lapchick with 334 career wins, all-time St. John's leader. And they throw it away.
Well, Mark Jackson tried to urge Jeff Allen to move to the glass. They didn't make the proper eye contact. Ball thrown helplessly out of bounds.
Andre Williams checks back in. He's got 3 fouls. 6'8" junior from Brooklyn, New York. This is Billy Culbertson, Hampton, New Jersey. Boy, a lot of New York represented on both of these teams. New York, New Jersey area. Of course, Lee Carnes second. That's Culbertson. Culbertson from outside. 8 points for Billy. And we're tied again at 31.
And now that has to help Pitt because Vaughn may get open with that loosening of the defense.
St. John's a local team or what? Out of the 12 players on the team, 9 from New York, 1 from New Jersey, 1 from Pennsylvania, and 1 from Connecticut. Off-balance shot from Mike Moses doesn't go. Here goes Billy Culbertson. And a foul is called.
And Billy Culbertson had 3 people he could have passed to. Should have given the ball up. Whether you agree with the call or not, this should not have happened. He had 3 people to pick from. Whether you like the referee's call or not, you have to give that ball up.
I liked it. Did you?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
that was a pretty good call.
He could have eliminated it by the pass.
You made a good call, too. 2.5 minutes gone, second half. We're where we were at halftime. Tied, 31 all. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a little while. Both these teams are in for recruiting bonanzas for next year. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. As Mark Jackson dribbled it off his foot.
There was no reason for Mark Jackson to put the ball between his legs. Roy Chipman saying, Look, I'm not giving you this ball back.
It's my ball. Now Luke Carnesecca marches up to join the discussion.
Are they saying the charge? They're claiming that it's got to be Culberson. He was dribbling the ball. Luke Carnesecca up there, helping to officiate.
Yeah, they just changed the foul to Culberson. Originally, they had called the foul on Curtis Aiken.
Just a lack of communication between the floor and the scorer's table.
Now, if they were watching our TV monitor,
everybody can't do that.
maybe they were listening to you talking about his passing instead of the foul. All right, 3 minutes gone. We're tied at 31, second half. 45-second clock is at 20. No three-point shot in the Big East Conference. Inside Chip Watkins.
Well, maybe that jump shot opened it up. They ran a good set there, a down and through, a length of the floor pass now.
Look at that pass. Mullen to Jeff Allen. Is that a piece of work or what?
That's the first time that Pitt didn't have a bailout man. They had nobody in the 5 spot. The length of the floor pass and the finish. Chris Mullen with a great read.
A length of the court bounce pass. Only from Chris Mullen. We're tied at 33. And here's 33. Billy Coleman. He's got it. Back and forth we go.
Well, the big people have to be happy on Pitt. That's going to get them in the ball game. Now, Curtis Aiken is back on this press to make sure that length of the floor pass does not occur.
4 minutes gone, second half. Sees the next dead ball. We'll have a television timeout. 35-33. Pittsburgh leading St. John's. Shot clock at 15. Now down to 10. St. John's using all of it. Last time they found Jeff Allen low. And now the 45-second clock is at 3. And an offensive foul will likely be called against Mark Jackson here, number 13.
Well, that's a freshman mistake, leaving one's feet. Little panic there on his part. Penetration and a dish off. If he had stayed on the floor, would have been better for St. John's.
So the foul against Jackson. There's the dead ball. There's the timeout. With the score, Pittsburgh 35, St. John's 33. Luke Carnesecca says, use your head, young man. We'll have more Big East basketball right after these messages.
Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh is our home. Let's treat it like our own. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. We've got a classy city. Picking up will keep her pretty. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh is our home. Let's treat it like our own. Pittsburgh pride is picking up. Pittsburgh pride is picking up.
So it's a 2-point lead. Pittsburgh led by 10 in the first half. And the Big East Player of the Week this week, Harold Presley. 17 points, 17 rebounds in the upset win over Georgetown. Played all 50 minutes of the double overtime contest. Wow, what a ball game.
Well, he's playing like the All-American he was in high school. And in fairness to young players, it takes time.
From Connecticut. And Pittsburgh next year will have the top high school player in the East. He's also from Connecticut. Charlie Smith, a 6'10 forward from Harding High School in Bridgeport.
Mark Jackson down underneath. A 1-3-1 press again after the timeout. Louis showing all these innovations. Bounce pass baseline. Everybody collapsing. Mark Jackson with the obvious reach-in.
2 team fouls against St. John's. 2 personals against Mark Jackson, and Jackson nearly steals it, throws it to Culbertson, off wing to Watkins.
All man-to-man again. Joey David put in now for the outside shooting. Luke on the second countering. To man-to-man.
Joey David loses it. Stewart cradles it. Here comes Chris Mullen. Boy, what a recruiting time St. John's has had the past couple of months. And they still hope to get Walter Berry, who was tied up in that court case, is now playing junior college ball in Texas.
I think the whole league will come up with some terrific players, as we hear with the turnover now.
And they get it right back. Mullen, baseline. Watkins, rebound, and Mullen nearly got it away from him, but they'll give it to Pittsburgh.
Unusual to see that. That does happen occasionally when you're not used to glass. You put too much spin on it, that accents on that missed layup. Chris Mullen.
Who doesn't have glass these days?
Well, some people may clean theirs more than others.
Pittsburgh nursing a 2-point lead. Andre Williams makes it 4. 6 points for Andre, the quiet giant. A 4-point lead for Pittsburgh. Mark Jackson for 2, length of the court.
Well, does that help him? He'd been struggling out of the gate with 3 quick turnovers. Good penetration.
Traveling against Clyde Vaughn.
Well, it's unusual to see a St. John's team struggling with their man-to-man defense. Zone has been their best defense tonight. Willie Glass now back on the floor. Little 1-3-1 now of Pitt.
Mullen all the way through, and Chris now with 14 points. And we're tied again at 37. Long way to go. 12 minutes, 54 seconds left in the second half. We were tied at halftime. We're still tied. Culbertson. Rebound to Williams. Pittsburgh with a second chance opportunity here. Joey David inside. Mullen steals it away. Mullen puts it between his legs. Then goes baseline and out of bounds off of Williams. Mullen's looking for the foul.
You can see Louis Kadasek on the side. He was trying to stop Chris Mullen all the way down the floor, trying to get him to slow it down, bring it outside.
And St. John's loses it right back.
Not a bad play either by Mullen. Instead of throwing it in and starting a fast break for Pitt, just settled, came out of bounds.
All right, 12:25 remaining in regulation, tied at 37. St. John's man-to-man. Vaughn's man to Stewart. Rebound. Wow.
Willie, Chris Mullen, Willie Glass down underneath. They're giving the foul to Mullen. But Chip Watkins has been getting a lot of playing time. Good square up. The carom. And on the wrist.
Second straight time down the floor that Pittsburgh has had a second chance. Chris just picked up his second personal foul. Watkins to the line. They're 2 for 2 from the line tonight. Problem is they just haven't gotten there often enough. Free throws really killed him a week ago against Illinois. 6 points for Chip Watkins. That's his seasonal average. Pitt Panthers with a 2-point lead, pressing in the St. John's backcourt.
That one home run pass loosened things up a little bit. Pitt had to take somebody off the pressing group, put him back towards half court, enables St. John's to get the ball in an easier fashion. Play
against the 2-3 zone, and they lose it again. And Mullen hits the floor. Panthers now can go up by 4. Culbertson dribbling off his foot, the foul.
Mullen reached in.
3 on Mullen.
Chris Mullen tried to pass the ball before he had it when he made the turnover. Down the other end, a reach-in.
So with 11:41 remaining in the second half, our score, Pittsburgh 39, St. John's 37. Let's pause for these messages.
Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can do the snowman. Later on, milk and fire as we dream by the fire.
Let Piedmont Airlines change all your ideas about winter. Fly with us to Florida.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
The wind, it carves its shape into the land, sets nature in motion, and fights man's efficiency on wheels. So International developed the LCO, lowest cost of ownership family of line haul trucks, designed with advanced aerodynamics and built-in fuel efficiency to slice through the wind and increase your mileage by up to 44%. Choose the LCOs from International or throw your money to the wind.
The trouble with a used car is you never know how it's been used or abused. For a sweet deal on a used car, check your phone book for the National Car Rental location near you.
Bill Raftery as St. John's comes on. They'll be joined next year by a fellow by the name of Shelton Jones. You ever hear of Shelton Jones?
Just from you?
Amity High School. I am told the guy is a sleeper, has grown from 6'2" to 6'8" in the last year and can play all 3 positions and was not heavily recruited, and no one saw him play, and St. John's signed him and stole him away. Shelton Jones. Remember that name next year, folks. George Allen outside. He hits it, and that'll help his confidence. He's been shooting horrendously the last couple of weeks. Hits his first from deep.
Shooting 39% for the year. And whatever you say, shooting does affect your all-around play. You let down a little bit when you're not ringing a bell.
Didn't Louis say something like that before the game? Doesn't matter what else you do sometimes. You know, you don't get the ball in the basket, you ain't going to win. Skip Watkins turns it over. So I'll tell you, St. John's has suddenly gone sloppy. George Allen again.
Bad foul in the backcourt. Billy Culbertson. Chris Mullen just using his head there. St. John's has been sloppy with the basketball. I have 7 turnovers early, and Mullen just uses his head here. Steps under, little backside, little posterior in the midsection.
That's 3 fouls against Billy Culbertson. Only 2 team fouls against Pittsburgh here in the second half. It's a 6-point Pitt lead because they've scored the last 6 points unanswered. And nearly halfway through the second half.
And you can see their defensive effort has picked up.
And another steal. And Mullen takes it right back. Chris Mullen working Vaughn, puts it between his legs, turns around, spots Jeff Allen. Allen moves inside, but stepped on the baseline. So another turnover.
And a timeout, too. Chris Mullen dumping the ball in. I don't know whether that was a wise pass with the traffic. Maybe a setup would have been better. Down underneath. Jeff Allen on the end line.
So it's suddenly sloppy St. John's. And with the score, Pittsburgh 43, the Redmond 37. Let's pause for these messages.
Some things speak for themselves. Back in 1894, Kelly Springfield built its first rubber tires for carriages to give people a smoother ride. Today, our Aramid-belted Voyager radial still delivers the Kelly Springfield ride. It's the rough roads that don't feel so rough. The rain-slick pavement that doesn't feel so slick. And the long tread life. So next time you need tires, get a set of Kellys.
For a Kelly Springfield ride.
Stetson fits. Stetson cologne for men.
Well, there's our score. Time remaining, midway second half. Upcoming Metro Sports Big East telecast. This Saturday, 12 noon Eastern, Connecticut Huskies visit the Providence Friars. That's at 12 noon. And don't forget, a week from tonight, Bill and I will be in Landover, Maryland. The Boston College Eagles take on the Georgetown Hoyas. Looking forward to that one a week from tonight here on many of these same stations.
Big one.
You know, we have 2 weeks from tonight. Georgetown and Syracuse. And some of the more remarkable games in the now 5-year history of this conference in television. The Georgetown-Syracuse games at Syracuse have been perhaps the most memorable ones. Here goes George Allen. Lefty, hits, and a foul. Wow. The awakening of George Allen.
Wazifa now, the left hand with the help out, and he doesn't ward anybody off. A big-time goal. Did they give that to Mullen? We're not sure who they gave it to. Ron Stewart, down below. But a pretty play, and as you said, the resurgence of George Allen, Andrew Jackson.
I'll tell you, in the Big East Conference games thus far, George Allen was shooting just 20%. Roy Chipman wondered how a guy could go from hot to cold overnight. George Allen had, here in the second half, unbenched 7 important points. And a big reason why Pittsburgh is suddenly on top by 9 again.
And of course he enjoys playing against St. John's right around the corner from his school.
And a foul is called. You know, Pittsburgh has scored the last 9 points in a row. Foul here is called against Andre Williams, and that's his 4th on the block.
You read things when you're a basketball player. If you've got the room to maneuver and the ability, you try it. Chris Mullen causing that 4th foul on Andre Williams.
Well, this is automatic too, right?
Well, not always, but with this guy, an incredible free throw shooter, 86%. Nick Lasevich into the ball game. From Franklin Regional here, Matt Lasevich.
He's not going to miss.
Boy, you know him better than I do.
St. John's has been playing basketball since 1906. No one in the history has a higher foul shooting percentage than this man, Chris Mullen. Tonight he's 8 for 8 from the line. He's got 16 points, and that breaks the 9-point run of Pittsburgh.
They've got to tee it up in the defensive end. Might look for Vaughn to get things going a little bit. Ron Stewart elbowing Vaughn, trying to fight for post position.
So Stewart picks up his 30. You know, this whole rush in the second half for Pittsburgh without Clyde Vaughn scoring a point.
Well, the guards have started to perk, and that's got to help him.
Allen and this man Culbertson.
It got St. John's out of that zone, which had been distracting.
Culbertson watched by a spread-eagle Mullen. Watkins at the high post. Here's George Allen. He wants to work Jackson. It's a 7-point Panther lead. Matt Lasevich inside is foul.
And that's strength on Jeff Allen. They've had Billy Culbertson trying to feed Clyde Vaughn, and it's not going to work because Chris Mullen is not respecting the outside shooting of Culbertson. He's jamming things up, creating some problems down low.
So Matt Lasevich at 6'7", local player, rolls it in. right, Pittsburgh has only taken, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foul shots. They've made them all. Big improvement from a week ago. There, they missed one. So it's an 8-point lead, and you know, Pittsburgh's only committed 3 team fouls, so it'll be a long time coming before St. John's has one-and-one. 8.5 minutes to go in regulation. Inside pass to Allen from Mullen, another assist for Chris.
Jeff Allen sealed his man off, and who better to deliver the ball than Chris Mullen?
St. John's trails 6. They trailed 10 in the first half.
Miklasevich has been jamming things up down low. He's been running into the post as Vaughn has been trying to set up.
Willie Glass just picked up his first personal. Roy Chipman wondering when his first Big East win will come of 83-84. Could be tonight. Jeff Allen sits down. Bill Wennington back in.
Just the opposite on the fouling now. St. John's over the limit. Pittsburgh only with 3.
Chip Watkins at the line. A 7-point Pittsburgh lead. St. John's briefly took the lead, but then Pittsburgh put on a surge. 8:14 left, second half. Pittsburgh leads St. John's 49-41. I wish I had a nickel for every time Mullen takes that dribble between his legs. Here's Stewart outside. He puts it up from there. That's not the shot Lou Carnesecca wanted. Clyde Vaughn takes the rebound. The Panthers hope to go up by 10 on this possession inside of 8 minutes now.
St. John's has to make a little move defensively now. Once they get down under the 5-minute mark and they have to play the length of the floor, it'll become a little harder for them. They're not that pressing type of club.
St. John's also lacks some instant firepower to come on in off the bench and give them that instant spark. Just don't have it. Culbertson over here on this side, working Mullen, backs away. 45-second clock is now down to 7. George Allen wants another one. High Rainbow has missed everything. Long pass, Wennington, Chris Mullen, head of the field for 2.
Good look by Billy Wennington. Allen's been hot. Not close on that one.
St. John's needs to dig in here. They trail 6. A moment ago, Pittsburgh had a chance to go up by 10. Big change of possession right here. St. John's has it. So they've got an advantage here, trying to score 2 field goals in a row.
Bad shot by Miklasevich, and he also has been running through the post as Vaughn shapes up. And it's been helpful to St. John's.
They're looking for Wennington and Mullen. They find Mullen, he's fouled. Miklasevich.
And I believe Miklasevich might be coming out now. Andre Williams in. And again, it's an angle game. That may have been an offensive foul. The lean back.
I think Mullen's grown an inch. I went up to him before the game and said, have you grown since a year ago? And he said, I hope so. But one of the assistant coaches, Brian Mahoney, said he thinks Chris was 6'5" when he came here 2 years ago. He may be 6'7" now, although they list him at 6'6".
Well, it might be all that food that they're forced to eat at St. John, traveling with Lou.
2 more automatic free throws for Chris Mullen. He's now 10 for 10 from the line. 20 points. St. John's trailing Pittsburgh by 4. The Panthers trying to hang on. Clyde Vaughn without a second half point. And he's been in there all the way. Culbertson beat. He's got it.
Now that'll make Mullen come up and enable the dump pass into the post.
Winding down towards 6 minutes now. Pittsburgh's lead is 6. Mullen living right there where he gets his baseline. Stripped away, cries for a foul as again. Here's a 3-on-2. George Allen, bounce pass, Culbertson, in and out. Jeff Allen, outlet pass. Here's Chris Mullen. Whoa, he went for the heavy shot over Allen. He had an open Willie Glass, passed him up, went in for 2, drew the foul from George Allen.
George Allen should not even have gone down there. Knew he had a man off to the side. Let them have the deuce. Keep them down.
Mike Moses checks in. Ron Stewart checks out. Mike Fagenbaum is back in for St. John's. And Mullen, 10 for 10 from the line. Trying to complete the three-point play. What do you know?
You had that effect twice tonight.
Who moved the basket? Mullen missed the free throw. About the only thing he's missed since the early going. 51-47, Pitt by 4. 5:24 left, regulation. Culbertson inside for Watkins, and the foul is called against Jeff Allen on the arm. And that's 2 on Jeff.
Pittsburgh has opened it up a little. First time in a while, getting the ball inside. Mike Fagenbaum has been aggressive. He and Vaughn have been fighting and vying for position. No contact in this game.
Well, Vaughn has been unable to make contact. He's shut out in the second half, and you saw some of the reasons why on that isolated replay. As Watkins makes his first foul shot, he's 5 for 5 from the line here in the second half. Well, he's got 10 points now, and Pitt's lead is 6. 5:18 left in regulation. And the 45-second clock will be turned off in another 30 seconds. Mullen puts it behind his back this time. Mark Jackson swings it over to Mike Moses. 5 minutes and counting. Pittsburgh's lead is 6. They led by as many as 10. We were tied at halftime. Mullen gets by Watkins, tipped by George Allen, but the foul is called on George, and that's his third.
This is knowing the game, the pump fake, the bounce, to open things up, and the lean, just enough to draw George Allen. It's amazing. A quiet 22.
11 for 12 now from the line.
Yeah, Lou Conosecca has said this team is not as good as people think, but I think winning makes your club better. They have an air about themselves, confidence.
Points for Chris Mullen now. They trail by 4. Panthers trying to hang on. 4:35 left now.
This will be the last shot clock sequence.
That's right. Triple team. Andre Williams, a strong offensive rebound.
That hurts you when you're trying to get back in it. The forced jump shot. Andre Williams not checked out, able to sneak in.
Mullen looking for a career high tonight. He scored 24. His career high is 29. 4:08 left. They have the shot clock running. I think it's a mistake, though, Bill. It should be turned off now.
It should. 4 minutes left.
Actually, turn it off with 4:44 remaining. Jeff Allen in the lane. He takes it.
I don't know how that ball got through the lane for Mullen.
Either does Luke Conosecca. He jumped up when he made the pass. Pittsburgh nursing a 4-point lead. 3:43 remaining. Pittsburgh trying to do it on this floor to St. John's for the second year in a row.
Mike Fagenbaum's done an excellent job keeping Vaughn out of the offense.
Pittsburgh using some of the clock. 3:27 and counting. Clyde Vaughn still hasn't scored in this half. St. John's can pull within 2. Boy, if Vaughn ever starts scoring in this half, it's going to be over.
Well, he's had some shots, but 2 people hanging on him. 4 more.
15 in the first half, nothing here. Downtown, Moses hits it, and St. John's is within 2 now. First field goal for Mike Moses. 2:53 left, and Pittsburgh takes the timeout. Things heating up. 2:54 remaining now in regulation. Pittsburgh leads St. John's 55-53. Let's pause for these messages now.
Every 3 minutes, every business day, a Piedmont jet is taking off somewhere in America, flying non-stops where other airlines don't, flying no-change flights where other airlines don't, and many times flying around the hassles of big, busy airports. Piedmont, every 3 minutes, every day. No wonder they call us the up-and-coming airline.
The Wall Street Journal is written for busy people. It doesn't waste your time with what you don't want to know. Make sure that you don't miss anything you have to know. Accurate, to the point, complete. The Wall Street Journal. It's all here.
Get all the business news you need when you need it. Get the Wall Street Journal delivered for 6 months for $53. Phone toll-free 800-626-9000. That's 6 months, $53. Delivered every business day. Phone 800-626-9000. Subscribe now.
Like to learn more about planning and funding public programs in the humanities? The Pennsylvania Humanities Council is offering grant counseling at the Pittsburgh-Allegheny County Cultural Alliance in the Century Building, January 26th and 27th. Call the Alliance at 765-0157 to schedule an appointment.
I'm sure they'll try to get Vaughn in the ball game.
St. John's in man-to-man. As we mentioned before, Vaughn, 15 points in the first half, none. Maybe you should have seen his fitness at halftime.
Good pressure by the St. John's guard.
There's Vaughn, and he missed it. But he got fouled on the second chance.
Whew. I don't know if this will be on Mullen. Mullen having some words. Yes.
That's four.
This is what makes him a great player. Look at the aggressive way. He knew he blew a chippy. And what strength coming out of the pack. Chris Mullen with the reach-in.
That's four on Chris, and they called him from behind. That wasn't even the collision up front. Vaughn is an 82% foul shooter.
He pulled the string on that. Didn't bend the knees, get the proper arc on the basketball.
Wow.
May have slipped a little down to his palm.
Boy, that's just, I wonder if his ankle's hurting him. I mean, it's just surprising to see.
Well, players don't try to miss. Technique was poor on both of them.
Wow. Now, St. John's with a chance to tie it. 2:15 remaining. Look out for Mullen. Allen's the man low down. But Moses takes another one from outside and hits it. Two outside shots by Mike Moses. We're tied at 55 at the 2-minute mark. St. John's has wiped out a 10-point lead in the first half and a 9-point lead here in the second. And now 1:50 remaining.
Jump ball now they're calling. Jeff Allen came down to help out. It's still Pitt's ball. This is just good help out. They've been concentrating on doubling up.
On the change of possession, Pittsburgh retains it. Return at second. Reaches Mike Feigenbaum as he comes out, and he did a great job on ball. St. John's with just one timeout remaining. Remember, only 3:15 allowed this year. On the miss, St. John's has it back.
And that's that substitution. Ron Stewart, because of size, going in for Feigenbaum, coming up with a big rebound. Louis running his motion.
You hold for one. 80 seconds left in a tie game.
Louis seems to be running his motion, looking to score.
Now, St. John's
Now he's saying one.
Only for one shot. 69 seconds to go. Waterloo.
Does he work the game?
Wow. Holding for one now. 1 minute remaining. Both teams are in the 1-1. St. John's has one timeout left. Pittsburgh 2. That's the story there. 53 seconds left. We're tied at 55. St. John's wants to win at the buzzer. 45 seconds remaining. If I were St. John's, I'd put it in Mullen's hands the last few seconds, because if you foul him, Pittsburgh, you've lost the game.
Well, also, he will find somebody if he doesn't have something for himself.
30 seconds left. The double team. Pittsburgh gets it away. At Pittsburgh holds timeout with 24 seconds remaining. St. John's tried to hold it for 1:20. And, of course, hindsight is 20/20. That's a long time.
Well, the other end of it, though, is Pitt laid back, let them hold it for a while, and then tighten the noose, came out aggressively, caused a double team, and then the ball bounced free. The tip by St. John's right into, I believe, Vaughn's hands. Now 24. Pitt with a chance to take the last shot. St. John's, knowing Lou, I think he might show man-to-man. Come up and play everybody, challenge every shot. He has, in the past, during this ball game, after a timeout, gone to the 2-3 zone or the 1-3-1 trap.
If you're Roy Shipman, does it prey on your mind that Clyde Vaughn has been shut out in the second half?
Well, before we get to that, let's just take a look at this follow-up now. The tip here, Stewart trying to keep it in play. And the tip away, I thought, by Stewart right to Vaughn.
What about Vaughn?
Well, I think he's played as well as he can. The rebound after the missed layup showed me that he's aggressive as ever. And, of course, you mentioned about the foul shot. You don't shoot the foul shot with your ankles.
Right.
Well, it does hurt. Your ankle will hurt when you miss them.
That's right.
He has done an awful lot. He's made St. John's concentrate on him every time down the floor. It's enabled the guards to get into the games a little. And I would think they'll try and get it into him to draw the foul underneath.
All right. 24 seconds and counting. You see the clock? They're tied at 55 at Pittsburgh.
And man-to-man now.
Down to 10. Here we go, folks. Billy Culbertson in the lane, throws it up, missed it. Culbertson gets it back, scores. 3 seconds to go. 1 overtime. We were tied at halftime at 29. We're tied after regulation at 55 as Luke Carnesecca comes over to the television table and apologizes for knocking over Bill Raftery's Coke when St. John's lost the ball with 30 seconds to go.
Well, I wasn't upset because it was a beer. It was only a Coke. But I've done worse on the sideline. He was excited, emotionally involved in the ball game.
Well, now what's important for St. John's here is that St. John's will get an extra timeout now, the extra 5 minutes. That'll get them up to 2. And Pittsburgh will go up to 3 now, so that's important. And we're going to take a look at those final seconds again, Bill, because Billy Culbertson had a couple of chances.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better shot and second shot. That looks like it might go short. The tip back by guess who? Clyde Vaughn, a little thing. But he kept it alive for Culbertson. And here Ron Stewart, fortunate to come up with the basketball.
Mullen's shot came after the buzzer. It was, of course, short. And from the University of Pittsburgh, we have an extra 5 minutes now. The Redmond and Panthers play overtime. And Pittsburgh did not score for the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds of the game.
Pitt did use one of their timeouts, by the way, Len, so it's
right.
2 each.
2 each, right.
Don't forget Mullen coming in now with the 4 fouls. That could play an important part if he should come up with one.
So, 5 minutes left. And St. John's has it.
Willie Glass alert. It had been touched so he could grab it after the St. John. Pitt with the 1-3-1 trap. Coming out aggressively.
Mullen works it inside to Allen. Willie Glass hits the rim with it and loses it out of bounds, but it's being, well, what's the call?
They're saying I pointed the wrong way, Fred Heichel.
All right. For a minute, I thought he was saying St. John's ball.
Tough underneath there. Willie Glass went up strong. Stripped of the ball.
This is the first overtime game for these clubs this year. Inside, rolls it in. Clyde Vaughn didn't score in the second half. He waited for overtime. 57-55 Pittsburgh.
You always like to go on that board first in that overtime.
That breaks a 5-minute run where the Panthers didn't score.
They drought.
1 minute of overtime is gone. Pittsburgh leads by Clyde Vaughn's basket.
St. John's has to counter right away.
Mullen falling for the ball at the top of the circle. Finally gets it way outside. Looks inside. Dishes off. Moses, boy, he was strong in the second half. Hits another one.
He's a nice player. Nice stroke. Hits that top of the key jumper. That time on the side, able to nail it.
So 3 important field goals for Mike Moses. We're tied at 57. 3.5 minutes remaining in overtime.
And Ron Stewart trying to get over the top. Baseline that time, being called for the foul.
All right, Coach, that's his 4th foul. If they give the teams an extra timeout, why not an extra foul for each overtime?
You're trying to complicate the rules. Ed Stites gets enough phone calls as it is.
I think that's a fair rule.
Oh, I do too. Personal foul.
Give a guy an extra personal. Well, some people say there are enough fouls in the game, but whoever would make the substitution, he could commit a fresh 5. So really, do less fouls.
I'm a fan, of course, 17 now by Clyde Vaughn. A couple of little plays that he's come up with.
Boy, missed his 3rd foul shot. So we're tied 57-57, Pittsburgh and St. John's. Len Berman happy to be on hand with Bill Raftery in the Steel City with 3:18 remaining in the first overtime.
St. John's has done a few different things this half.
Mullen to Allen. Where have we seen that before?
Well, they got Stewart on the high post there, and he had a dish off to Mullen. Just a little change in their set. May have opened that up for Jeff Allen.
This is St. John's' 2nd lead of the night. They only led once in the second half early. Here they lead now by 2 with 2:48 remaining in overtime. Williams does not answer. Pittsburgh has had far many second chance opportunities. You know, when you think about St. John's just hasn't had the second chance.
They sure have been scrapping Pittsburgh. Everything on the glass they've been attacking, but you're safer attacking with St. John's because they really don't look for that break as often as other clubs. Chris Mullen's almost been zoning Billy Culberson to help out down below on Clyde Vaughn. He's staying back in there, looking around for him. Just a little thing, but it stymies Vaughn.
Pittsburgh looking to tie it up again. 2:20 remaining in overtime.
And Stewart, they're calling the offensive foul. And this is something coaches have been complaining about. What Clyde Vaughn did was body his man out of position, and then Stewart tried the other way. Vaughn kept moving. Fred Heichel on top of that one.
First foul for Clyde Vaughn. 2:19 left. Ron Stewart will go to the line shooting 1-1. This year he shot 87% from the line. And St. John's does now get a rare second chance as Clyde Vaughn hits the floor hard and it's slow getting up.
Willie Glass, and we haven't called that name too often, but quick to the rebound then.
Clyde favoring that injured ankle.
He's struggling down.
He will come out at this point. 2:12 left in overtime. St. John's leads by 2. Two minutes and counting now. Clyde Vaughn broke the tie when we started overtime. Mike Moses tied it up. Jeff Allen gave St. John's a 2-point lead.
Curtis Aiken down there trying to come up with the ball. They've been a little aggressive. And I'm going to enjoy watching him grow in this league. He's a talent.
Moses, junior who transferred from Florida this year. And he misses the foul shot.
Well, they're going to call this on Jeff Allen over the top. Chip Watkins is the foul shooter, 69% shooter. It's tough when you're big. People don't believe you can get a rebound. Felt Allen bodied Watkins.
So now Chip Watkins will have a chance to tie it if he can hit 1 and 1. Foul shooters are getting tight here in overtime. Not that time.
You can see Reggie Warfield's influence in the recruiting, can't you? 2 Kentucky youngsters.
Chip from Louisville. Brian Mitchell from Lexington. We're tied at 59. And timeout is called by Pittsburgh. That leaves them with 1. Now, with 1:54 left in the first overtime with the score, Pittsburgh 59, St. John's 59. We have a break in the action. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Basketball at its best. Don't miss any of the excitement as many of the country's top college teams clash, including Duquesne, West Virginia, Penn State, and Pitt. Fierce competition and tight ball games make this one of the best basketball schedules ever.
Have we got something for you? Catch 22. Have we got something for you?
See Kung Fu Theater every Saturday at 6 p.m. as the world's finest martial artists level the scales of justice over evil. Don't miss all the exciting action every Saturday at 6 p.m.
Have we got something for you? Catch 22.
.154 left in overtime. 59. Luke Karn a second. I don't think he came on the floor with a coach, so he hasn't stripped it off.
Bundle of energy. Late substitute here now. Andre Williams in for Vaughn, and not a bad move. You mentioned hobbled with the foot. Might as well get somebody that's physically able into the ball game.
So Clyde Vaughn, who didn't score in the second half, scored a field goal to start off overtime, finishes the night with 17. If indeed he is finished. 1 minute, 40 seconds left, Bill, tied at 59.
St. John's has struggled against this 1-3-1. They haven't been able to get the ball to spots.
Didn't move the ball in. 5-second violation. Why don't you explain that rule, Bill?
Well, you've got to break the timeline within, once you're bouncing the ball or holding it, 5 seconds. And, you know, just on alert, what happened, all the post people were up so tight, Mike Moses wasn't able to loop the ball over the 1-3 set. Tough turnover for St. John's.
Clyde Vaughn back in. 1:25 remaining in overtime. Could be a costly 5-second violation for St. John's, forced by the Pittsburgh defense. 1:15 left in overtime. Culbertson missed the shot in the regulation. Misses this one. Andre Williams on the follow. Big rebound.
Roy Chipman's 1-3-1 has gotten them into a position and a 2-point lead.
47 seconds left. Pittsburgh leads by 2. Bowen in the lane. Had it slapped away. 35 seconds to go. The Panthers have the ball and the 2-point lead. And a foul.
Mike Moses, 1-1. Chris Mullen asking Hank Nichols a about the shot down the other end. And this is just a giveaway, trying to stop the clock by Moses. But Chris Mullin going for the goal. Having the ball slapped away. And now, Billy Culberson can put Pitt in the driver's seat.
80% foul shooter, has not been to the line tonight. 31 seconds left. Pittsburgh leads by 2 still. St. John's gets it back. A costly miss perhaps by Culberson. 25 seconds to go. Underneath. Willie Glass missed it. And St. John's stepped on the baseline. It's Pittsburgh ball. 18 seconds left.
Willie Glass fumbled that ball a little, and that's what cost them. Pitt coming in with some offensive players now. Aiken and Vaughn back in.
And St. John's takes the timeout. It will be Pittsburgh ball following this Redmond timeout. There'll be 18 seconds left in overtime. And Pittsburgh with a 2-point lead. Both teams now have just 1 timeout remaining.
Well, it's a little campfire in there. A lot of people running into the ball game for Pitt. They put Vaughn and Aiken in. Looks like they're putting somebody else in. I didn't catch the number, but now it's keep away. I would think they'll throw the ball inbounds back towards the St. John's basket. Use a few seconds in the backcourt. Try and get up and over. And Louis Conasec, I know you want to read some things. We can get into his huddle in a moment, but I'm sure he's going to say, look, go for the steal. You have to give one, take our shot. Or maybe Watkins or Vaughn or somebody's going to struggle from the line.
So, Pittsburgh walks back on the floor. St. John's defense is set. Let's see if they commit the foul. Teams have struggled from the line in the final minutes of regulation and here in overtime.
Right, Aikens now at 55%. Once you get it in, I would think Pitt will utilize as much time as they can at the St. John's end of the floor.
Here we go. Culberson foul. So the man who missed the foul shots last time will have a second chance, and he is a good foul shooter.
He is. Of course, Keith Armstrong's going into the ball game now. He's one of the 4 free throw shooters, as well as Curtis Aiken.
As Ron Stewart has just fouled out. So Ron closes out the night with 5 points, all in the first half. And he's replaced by freshman guard Mark Jackson.
Lou Conasec has all 5 St. John players on the free throw line.
It was Culbertson's free throws a year ago which pulled the big upset of Pittsburgh over St. John's. Here in overtime, he missed his foul shots a moment ago, trying to redeem himself here, 1-1 with a 2-point lead. That time he's got it. Trying to give Pittsburgh a 4-point lead.
Now Roy Chiffin's moved everybody back. He doesn't want anybody to lean in and foul. Let St. John's go to the line without the clock moving.
16 seconds left. Ooh, missed one of them. 3-point lead, 12 seconds to go. They don't want to foul. Mullen brings it within 1 and a timeout called with 8 seconds to go.
Not much more they could do. Get the goal, get the time, get organized. Of course, now the coaches, St. John's having scouted, has an idea of what set Pitt will use to get the ball in.
So 62-61 now, Pittsburgh. 8 seconds to go in overtime. The executive producer of Big East basketball is Leonard Klompus. Tonight's game produced by Paul Carlson, directed by Gary Clem. Coordinating producer, Marcia Turner. Associate producer is Skip Jordan. Our technical supervisor has been Steve Ulrich. Audio operations, Jack Stocker. Production facilities have been supplied by Cruise Unlimited, Crestwood, Kentucky. And Flight 3 Television Productions, Baltimore, Maryland. There's Andre Williams walking on slowly. Pittsburgh Panthers looking for their first victory in Big East play this year, and if they get it, it did not come easy.
Oh, they've worked for it. And it's interesting, Roy Chipman substituting offense for defense. He took Armstrong back out that time because of the free throw shooting. Pitt with only one. I'm sure Chip Watkins has been informed, look, if you get stuck, you can't get it in, use that one. Everybody, you might look for a deep pass now. Everybody's up for St. John's. 5-second violation. You couldn't ask for anything more. If you're a St. He's saying it's after.
But he was asking for a timeout all along.
No, he was, but what Hank Nichols was saying, it was on the 4th second when he asked it. It's too late.
And Chris Mullen wants a timeout, but
no, he doesn't have any.
Well, he's asking his coach, should I call timeout? They don't have it. So St. John's inbounds it now. 8 seconds to go. A 5-second violation. St. John's ball. They trail 1. Willie Glass in traffic. Loses it. Pittsburgh ball. George Allen is fouled with 2 seconds remaining.
Tough play. Willie Glass unable for the second time to come up with the basketball. Tried to be creative there. Tough for him. He's only a freshman. Chris Mullen just caressed him. On the pass now.
There's Willie Glass.
And Mullen making the cut to the hole, and on the pass through traffic. A good hustle. It's a mistake, but he was trying to do something for his club, and I admired Mullen going right to him, caressed him.
George Allen, 1-1 now. Pittsburgh leads by 1, 2 seconds to go. They lead by 2. He hits this one, it's over for sure.
Now, the only thing St. John's can do is try and whip the ball up the half court if the shot is missed.
Just 2 seconds are left. And Allen got his own rebound. And Pittsburgh wins their first of the year in the Big East Conference.
Roy Chipman and Luke Conaseca, a heck of a ball game. Both clubs, coaches earned it tonight.
A wild ending with 5-second violations on both sides, which played key factors in the outcome. Finally, in overtime, Pittsburgh defeats St. John's 63-61. So St. John's has lost 2 in a row. They go to 11-3, 2-2 in the conference. Pittsburgh goes to 10-4, 1-3 in the conference. It's been fun, Bill. Along with Bill Raftery, I'm Len Berman. So long from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once again, our final score in overtime, Pittsburgh 63, St. John's 61. Good night, everybody. This has